Hi, here's my rant on Animal Crossing. If this Animal Crossing thing has proven one thing, an almost scarily large amount of gamers don't care about gameplay or art graphics at all. It makes me afraid for the future of gaming when all the money is going into busy work, even if the system being used is way outdated and frustrating and time-wasting at every action you must attempt to do. If customization options hadn't surprised me, Skeletor shirt all the way, motherfuckers. Um, I wouldn't have been fooled into thinking that this game is a fun, cute experience. This labor simulator that doesn't teach you how to do any of the labor you're performing in a way that benefits your real life outside of the game type of a game. And knowing human nature, people will less likely want to pursue these things they enjoy doing in the game. You know, building furniture, making recipes, decorating a house, grinding to pay off loans, even talking to other people, since everybody in the game loves you. This is definitely an ego-stroking game. And with purpose. In Because it's so much easier to fail at these things in real life. So people want to turn back to the game to make themselves feel competent, safe, and not a waste of space, like an addiction that causes the deficiency to make you more addicted to that, that pinky-sized lifesaver of control that the game smugly allows you to have, even though that control is completely superficial, held back by intentionally revived system functionality problems and design flaws that had been solved in gaming for decades, but have been intentionally put back into these games to do nothing other than waste our time. You gotta pay attention to the choices of writers and directors and game developers and artists of all kinds these days. These patterns get noticed and then repeated and revived when we've gotten long past them. We should be moving forward. Why is it always a constant backpedal to archaic systems lately? Again, it goes along with my whole everybody seems perfectly happy with more and more frustrating limitations added onto what they enjoy. My example then was Facebook allows you to, make large posts as big as you want. But everybody's over on Twitter or Instagram, which only allows you, 120 characters or something? Why do people love limitations so much? I don't get that. Where am I? Again, it goes along with that. It means it's a trend. I don't want to see win, because it means game companies can be lazy and shitty and still expect money from us. And that's not right. I might stick with Animal Crossing for a week or a month or so more, but its inherently frustrating and intentionally obsolete design choices, like not automatically using storage materials while DIYing inside your own house, if you have a workbench inside your own house, or, if you get a clothes wardrobe or a freezer or a fridge, they hold your clothes in this game. But they don't free up some space in your storage. Like, you can't just store them into your wardrobe as a separate storage space. It all goes into your main storage, which fills up really fast. Or only being able to read 3 lines at a time in any conversation, interrupted by short pauses that block your button accessibility so you can't click through them, you can't skip forward. But this one is a Nintendo problem I've been wanting to rant about for years, ever since Paper Mario. I've hated this text system that Nintendo has adopted. I understand what it's for. It's for little kids who are eager to click through the story and don't know what's going on. I get it. But it's so goddamn frustrating not to have some sort of alternate button that skips through it all. Nintendo, get on this. This is 2020, not 1987. You've fixed these problems before. Don't put them back. These inherently frustrating and intentionally obsolete design choices, like I listed, are really making me rage more than I'd like to. And lately, I've been intentionally avoiding games that make me rage so that I don't break things and upset the emotional balance and end up getting a sore back from screaming. That happens. But it's usually for fast-paced, hyper-type games like Smash Brothers or Mario Kart, or the types of games that make you fail rather than you failing it. There's a very important distinction with that. Like Dark Souls, you fail, but let's see, what's a good example? I don't know. I try not to play crappy games, but let's say Bubsy. Bubsy fails you on the N64 PlayStation 1, whichever the 3D Bubsy one was on. These, let's see, yeah, like those types of games. I'm usually fast-paced, heavy, like intense types of games. I can get frustrated and super angry if things don't go right because I put so much tension and so much energy into doing it, and then it fails. You know the feeling. But who knew that a peaceful little island of cute animal critters would give me the same controller cracking rage as Kratos or Wario, simply by metaphorically pumping the brakes before every goddamn step you take. Now, the way I said that, I had it typed out in capital letters with periods between it. Now read that last part again in capitals with each period being a pause. Doesn't that make your stomach feel lurched when you have to stop before you start every single goddamn thing? That's the entire experience of Animal Crossing. Constant pumping of the brakes, like a brand new car that pumps the brakes for you, as if it was a feature and not a fundamentally obsolete flaw. One good thing about Animal Crossing is I go back to my Dragon Quest and Breath of the Wild and Breath of Fire 2 even on the old Super Nintendo in the game pack that you can download. And I feel that breath of fresh air that, oh, I'm actually playing a game again. A game, and not just a tedious time-wasting experience to see how many people are willing to pay full price for intentionally unfixed, decades-old game design problems repackaged as a game. Or features within that game. We liked the retro-style games for their style and gameplay, not for their menu problems. And whatever happened to the good old days of being able to carry 99 of every item at any time, and at the same time? This is a video game. This is not reality. We don't need to be bound by reality. The point of being in video games is that you can do whatever the fuck you want to program. I'm tired of game designers thinking arbitrary limitation is a fun game mechanic. I don't play games to manage menus and storage. I play the game to play the game. I don't want to be fiddling around in fucking menus for hours. I want to be playing my character doing badass shit. There needs to be a reason, a solid game around systems like that, to make them even valid. But even then, those are always the most annoying parts of gaming, forcing you to deal with slow, clunky menus and dialogue choices, forced crafting and all that kind of shit. Once you realize the only reason you pay Tom Nook is to make your house bigger, and if you already like your house, you never have to pay that bastard again. And then, other than pointless busy work that is done better in other games, there's nothing else to it. No goal, no point. All I get for this frustration and brake pumping is that little shot of endorphins I get when I catch a whale shark. Sorry, I see your time-wasting tricks, and soon I'll be wasting that time. We'll stop wasting that time altogether. But I would still love to hang out with some of my friends before I cancel this little bit of unexpected rage in my life. I need to show off my house. Send me a friend number. But yeah, in the end, it's just not psychologically worth it for me. Plus, it wastes so much time I could be putting toward my artwork. Since it's a game in constant purgatory that is constantly pulling you in so many directions at once, you forget what you're doing, and it's harder to realize you've wasted hours playing a game without any actual gameplay. Just like cell phones these days. So many things we do on these one little devices, that when we open it, we are overwhelmed by all these apps calling for our attention, and you can't remember why I even opened it. Or an analogy within an analogy, like walking into a room and forgetting why you're there. So you waste an hour or 5 doing something useless because your mind never wandered back to what you were supposed to do because these other apps had your attention. And you're like, oh shit, I was supposed to be timing my food about an hour ago. That kind of thing. That that kind of experience is what Animal Crossing is. That is bad for my mental health. If your mind needs that kind of busy work to stay healthy, all the power to you. Go and enjoy it. I don't mean to take down your enjoyment. I'm just trying to explain why I don't like being pissed on by game developers and then being told it's a game feature.